elves and the shoemaker.
Go.
Once upon a time, there was an old shoemaker. Although he worked hard, he was very poor. One cold winter night, he sat on his workbench. He began cutting his last piece of leather. There was only enough for one pair of shoes. "Come to bed, dear," his wife said. The shoemaker shook his head. "If I don't sell these shoes, I'll have no money." "You can finish them in the morning," the wife said. Please get some rest." The shoemaker sighed and put down his scissors. In the middle of the night, two little elves climbed onto the workbench. They wore thin rags for clothes and had no shoes. They saw the cut leather and got to work. And while they worked, they sang, "We are helpful little elves, helping others helps ourselves." The next morning, a beautiful pair of shoes sat on the workbench. The shoemaker gasped. "Who made these shoes? What a miracle!" The shoemaker's wife said. That day, a rich woman visited the shop. She loved the shoes and paid more than the shoemaker had expected. He was able to buy enough leather for 2 pairs of shoes. That evening, the shoemaker began cutting the leather. He yawned as he cut. "Dear, there's no need to work at the night." "Work through the night," said his wife. said. The shoemaker nodded. "I'll just finish cutting the leather." When the shoemaker was finished cutting his When the shoemaker was finished, he left the leather on his workbench. He yawned again and went to bed. Once again, the little elves visited the shop again. They happily got to work. See, "We are helpful little elves, helping others helps ourselves." The next morning, 2 beautiful pairs of shoes sat finished on the workbench. "It happened again," the shoemaker cried. "Someone must be trying to help us." His wife said. The 2 pairs of shoes quickly sold. Now there was enough money to buy leather four pairs of shoes. For several more days, the pattern repeated. And eventually, the shoemaker was no longer poor. One evening, not long before Christmas, the shoemaker was cutting leather. Our fortunes have changed so quickly, said his wife. I wonder who had been helping us. Why don't we stay up tonight? The shoemaker said. We can see who our kind helpers are. What a marvelous idea, said his wife. They hid and waited. They hid and waited. Not before long, the elves appeared on the workbench. As the elves sang and worked, the shoemaker and his wife whispered to each other. Those poor creatures, she said. Their clothes are worn out, and they had no shoes. The shoemaker said, they helped us, so we should help them. I have an idea. On Christmas Eve, the elves appeared again. When they climbed onto the workbench, they gasped. There was no leather cut for shoes. Instead, there was there were two sets of fine clothes and two fine pairs of shoes. The elves quickly put everything on, saying, We helped them, we did indeed, and they give us the thing we need. The shoemaker and his wife watched the elves shuffle away. The elves never visited the shop again. But the shoemaker and his wife never forgot their kind helpers.
老婆，你只是剪头发而已哈。好。
Someone was stealing their shoes. B. So he was lazy. C. B. C. C.
Who made shoes of the?
Very good.